Now, I remember so many years ago, I used to be a very shy person. So I wouldn't usually very easily come out there and talk to the public. I also had issues with self-esteem in those days. Now, I didn't really understand that all this thing was related to trauma. So I didn't really understand that I was involved with a toxic family unit. So I didn't understand anything about trauma. I didn't know all these things that were happening in the background. So anyhow, I was a shy person, so you wouldn't expect me to come around and speak to people. I had self-esteem issues. I had anxiety when it came to speaking to people and addressing people, especially a group of people. It's happened along my journey so many times. But you see, upon awakening, I remember one particular day, I started sharing my story on online. That was on Facebook back then. So I was sharing my story about narcissistic abuse, but basically I was talking about relationships. So I thought that, okay, I'm going to come around and I will talk about my experience, you know, the relationships and all these kind of things, toxic relationships. For the most of you guys who know me on Facebook, you have seen my journey 3 years ago. So I did not know if I really wanted to speak about narcissism. I was not so sure. I was a little bit scared and afraid about coming out and speaking about abuse. Now, in those days I was on my healing journey, so I was healing eventually day by day, month by month, and eventually year after year. Now I remember one particular time in those days, I talked about flying monkeys. I did not really come out and speak about narcissism, but I talked about flying monkeys. And behold, somebody got back to me and they messaged me in my inbox. So they came in my inbox and they told me that it looks as if I was talking about their own story, their own personal story. Now I was very surprised. You see, one thing you have to understand, people, when you start moving and working authentically, that is exactly when you're going to meet your tribe. Now let me repeat this. The moment you start expressing yourself authentically and speaking your truth, that is exactly when you're able to find your soul tribe, or your soul tribe will find you either way. Now that person got to me, they were like, you are actually speaking about me in this video. So we went into the inbox and we started exchanging messages, and that's when I realized that this particular individual, they had also been involved with a narcissist. So that was my first coaching session. So I started helping that particular individual, you know, little by little. You know what I mean? I did not have all the details, but I started helping this particular individual little by little, and eventually that individual was able to break free from the narcissist. They had been entangled with the narcissist for 3 years. Now, there is no such a thing as coincidence in this universe. Everything around you is happening according to divine timing. So, the fact that you have found this video and the fact that this video has popped up on your screen means we are divinely aligned. What does that mean? There's a message that I want to share with you. So there's a message in this video for you. And again, pick whatever resonates. If something else is not for you, let it go. Just pick out that which resonates with you. Now there is a download has come to me this morning. It is for a specific individual out there. You have been there. You have received a notice. It could have been an email. It could have been a letter. It could have been a phone message or whatever, but it looks as if you have received something. You have received a message. And that message is telling you that you have been chosen as the right candidate. Now you might have been a person who has, you have been looking for a job. Probably you have been at a job and you've been thinking about leaving that job because they couldn't actually promote you to the next level. So you have been struggling in your job. And then eventually your company has contacted you. They have told you that you're the right candidate, they are going to promote you probably to a supervisor position or probably to a manager position, managerial position. So whichever way, shape or form, you've been promoted to a certain degree, but at the same time, you're back there thinking, how are you going to prosecute? How are you going to prosecute this assignment that they have given you? So you're actually scared about this appointment because most probably it's too big for you. For the rest of you, it could be there's a message has come in. You might have been trying to date someone for a long time. There's a person, a particular individual of interest that you've been trying to date, and you've been thinking that, am I worthy of these individuals? It's like you have been trying to make a move, but for some reason, you might have had low self-esteem, so you've been drawing back and thinking that you're not going to go ahead because probably you think you're not worthy or you're not fit to date those particular individuals. Or if you have been dating, probably you've been thinking about marrying a particular individual. Now, this message has come in, and the answer is yes. You're out there thinking, am I the one? How can I do this? What am I going to do? So probably you're even scared to take this appointment. You don't know if you're fit or if you're the right candidate for this appointment. For the most of you, you have been thinking about traveling. Maybe you've been thinking about going to a new place, or maybe there's a new house, and then you're thinking that, how am I going to be able to pay the bills of that new place? So you've been used to living small. And now you're thinking, how are you going to be able to pay, to get the money to buy the furniture and the beds and all these kind of things for that new place? Because probably you have been trying to relocate, but at the same time you're very scared. And now the agencies are calling you, they are contacting you, they are telling you, look, there is this offer, there's a house in this area, and most likely that's the area you have always wished to live. Now you're thinking about the next step. Probably you've been used to your comfort zone, your little small house or your little small room. Now you're thinking, how are you going to be able to pay the rent? Probably how are you going to be able to pay that house? How are you going to be able to pay the furniture? You are most likely thinking you're not fit at that particular time, at this particular time, to relocate or to move to that particular position. Now the agencies have contacted you. Probably they've sent you an email and they have told you you have been chosen to come and view this place. For some of you, there might be the bank has contacted you. Probably they want to offer you a loan. You've been struggling with starting your own business. You've been thinking, oh, maybe you can start your little shop at the corner of the street. But at the same time, you're thinking about how are you going to get the funds to start that business. Maybe you've even tried to contact the banks before, and then they have been checking around with your credit history and scored everything, and they have told you you're not fit to get a loan from that bank. But at the same time, all of a sudden, the bank has contacted you for some reason, and they're asking you to come around and apply for that loan. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because the universe has come into your rescue, and the universe has come in to rescue your situation, and the universe is going to make the moves. You do not need to know the details. You do not need to craft out and to overthink about the little details. How are you going to buy the furniture? How are you going to pay back the loan? How are you going to enter into this marriage? Because probably you think that person, you're not worthy of that person. Probably those individuals, they are at a certain vibration, and probably you do not match up with that vibration. It is the universe speaking to you that your time is now. Do not overthink the situation. Get up and go. Pack your little bags. Get up and move. You are going to get all the details on your journey. So you're going to learn everything along the way. If you have been chosen, if you have been selected to be a manager, a supervisor, or a boss of a certain company, do not overthink the details. You are going to learn everything along the way because the universe has appointed you for that assignment. So let me know if you're the person I'm talking with, and if that is the case, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you in my next one. Desmos signing out. Peace.